it's important to have self-compassion and compassion for others, which I know can be challenging, but as with everything, it all takes practice, right? Bruce Lee didn't come out of the womb throwing 6 kicks in a second, right? Gordon Ramsay didn't come out of the womb cooking the perfect beef Wellington. Remember that when you're in a challenging situation, especially with someone that you don't know, neither of you know where each other is in their journey. We're all living life through our own perspective lenses. I often hear the phrase, healing is a journey, it's not a destination. But healing isn't just a journey, it's made up of destinations also. Hello, Bliss Seekers. Welcome back. I'm Steph, and I'm so grateful that you've joined me on this journey where we explore the incredible power of the mind and its ability to transform our lives for the better. This space is for growth, connection, and transformation, where we explore the power of the mind, mindfulness practices, and intuitive guidance, all designed to help you unlock your full potential. Now, I recently had an experience that just reminded me of something, and I felt compelled to share because it led to a lot of introspection. As with many of life's events, if you know me, I'm always a student of life's teachings. I love to learn and grow and live and enjoy. To me, life is made up of opportunities and choices. Every moment in life is an opportunity, either filled with moments to grow, moments to heal, and moments to just be and embrace joy. Or the opportunities can come in the form of challenges that allow us to learn and gain wisdom through life's lessons. When you start to see every experience, positive or difficult, as an opportunity, you can release the resistance and embrace life as a journey of expansion. A challenge is simply an opportunity wrapped in disguise, asking you to grow. A joyful moment is an opportunity to anchor yourself in gratitude and presence. Both serve you, just in different ways. And then we have choices, which determine how you respond to those opportunities. Because while life gives you opportunities, it's your choices that really shape the path forward. You get to choose how you respond. Will you learn from the challenge or dwell on the pain? Will you savor the moment or will you let it pass by unnoticed? Choices are your moments of empowerment. They ultimately shape the story of your life. You may not always choose the opportunities that life presents you, but you always have the power to choose your response. And every choice is an act of creation, building the life that you desire. Even in those moments where you immediately think, oh my goddess, why did I say that? Did I make a mistake? No, you didn't. You made the choice for a reason. Your intuition led you to make that choice and react that way for a reason. And both of those together, opportunities and choices, they create your unique path, your life journey. The recent experience that I had reminded me of this. You see, I signed up for a class out of curiosity because my intuition was guiding me very, very strongly to check it out. I really didn't know what to expect from it. I just knew that it was a mindfulness life practice that I'm very much interested in and knew just a little bit about. But I didn't know enough to fully understand it, or if it was similar to another modality. Well, it wasn't what I thought it was. Turns out it was very much a class meant to work through heavy trauma. It wasn't something like, meditation where you can use it to work through trauma, But you can also use it to just be still and practice being present in the here and now without doing any type of shadow work. No, with this class, that specific technique was designed to work through heavy trauma. I had signed up for this class twice. So I had two classes. And afterwards, I did end up canceling the second class because I am in a stage of life where I'm growing through knowledge, not through healing deep wounds. So I got to speak to the instructor and I let them know that I would be canceling. And after some conversation, well, it led to a series of misunderstandings, miscommunication, and perceived narratives that really just wasn't a pleasant experience at all. Definitely not my favorite. I'm not going to go into the details, but the instructor was not very kind in how they communicated to me. And I had a choice to get on their level and also be cruel, or I could walk away, leaving that situation in kindness and gratitude for the lesson. Of course, I chose not to get on their level. And I stepped back as an observer of my reality for a moment just to see how I was feeling about it. And I had so many wonderful feelings and thoughts. There wasn't any anger, there wasn't any hurt. I hadn't allowed the words that they said to affect me negatively. Rather, I took it as an opportunity for self-reflection and introspection on some interesting concepts that I observed. I probably won't get into all of them today because we'll be here forever. But yeah, normally in the past, when I was living in my trauma and hadn't worked through it all, an event like this, it would have destroyed my psyche. It would have left me in a state of lack, hating myself, or in a state of anxiety and not feeling like enough, just any of those things, right? Because this person really tried to pick me apart with their criticisms. Instead, I recognized that the opportunity allowed me to truly understand how far I've come. Because while it's important to look back in order to heal and move forward, it is also important to remember to look back in order to celebrate the wins along the way and acknowledge your growth. And there's nothing wrong with being proud of yourself and being your own cheerleader. Give yourself a high five if you want to. It's actually a very important factor. Now, before I dive into more concepts that came up from my experience, I do want to share some actionable items in 5 steps for becoming an observer of your life, because it's super helpful to do this in order to self-reflect, to heal, and to grow, especially when you're faced with difficult situations. Now, the premise is to create space between your reaction and the situation. That's going to allow you to shift into observation mode, because it's tough to see through the chaos, right? It's like trying to see your reflection in a waterfall or a fogged up mirror, right? Okay, so the first step is to pause and breathe. I know it sounds simple, but in the heat of the moment, it's really not that simple. When emotions are high, you want to pause and take deep, intentional breaths. You can use the 4-7-8 method, where you inhale for 4 counts, hold for 7, and exhale for 8, or the 4-4-4-4 method, which is called box breathing, where you inhale for 4 counts, hold for 4, exhale for 4, hold for 4, repeating a few times to calm your nervous system. The second step is to name the emotions. Identify what it is that you're feeling. Is it frustration? Are you feeling disappointment? Are you feeling hurt? Say it out loud or write it down. This helps to separate yourself from the emotion rather than being consumed by it. It's like pretending each emotion is a cloud in the sky that you're just observing. Third, you want to ask yourself reflective questions to shift your perspective, either in first person, or you can try a third person perspective. So you can ask yourself questions like, what is this situation trying to teach me? How have I handled similar situations in the past? What about this shows me how much I've grown? These questions, they shift your focus from being in the storm to observing it, right? So we're stepping back out of it. Or you can try the third person perspective if that's easier, where you imagine watching the situation as if it's happening to someone else and ask yourself, well, what advice would I give this person? And this detachment, it helps to create clarity. Step number 4 is you want to reframe that experience and ground yourself in gratitude. Practice seeing the situation as an opportunity rather than a setback. For example, instead of, why is this happening to me? Ask, how is this helping me grow? And after reflecting, write down 1 or 2 things that you're grateful for about the experience. Even if it's something small like, I stayed calm, or I learned what I'm not going to tolerate anymore. This gratitude, it helps anchor the growth. And then step 5 is to choose your response. Decide how you want to move forward with gratitude, growth, or calm acceptance. This step, it's all about empowerment. It's about realizing that while you can't always control what happens, you can control how you respond. It's your moment to step into your power and decide how you want to move forward rather than reacting on autopilot. Now, one of the things to remember while you are going through life's experiences is that it's important to have self-compassion and compassion for others, which I know can be challenging, but as with everything, it all takes practice, right? Bruce Lee didn't come out of the womb throwing 6 kicks in a second, right? Gordon Ramsay didn't come out of the womb cooking the perfect beef Wellington. Remember that when you're in a challenging situation, especially with someone that you don't know, neither of you know where each other is in their journey. We're all living life through our own perspective lenses. And in many ways, we are mirrors reflecting one another. And you may trigger people, not necessarily because, you know, there's something wrong with you or, you're trying to do it on purpose, but because something in your words or actions is holding up a mirror for them to see themselves more clearly. Sometimes this reflection can reveal parts of themselves they don't yet like or accept, or the potential of who they could become, and that can be uncomfortable. But not every trigger is a projection. Triggers can also stem from deeply personal experiences, boundaries crossed, past traumas revisited, or beliefs that they hold close. And that's valid too. It's important to recognize that everyone's response comes from their own unique life story. Sometimes their triggers have little to do with you and everything to do with where they are in their own journey. And just as you may be triggered in certain situations, it's a call to pause and reflect. Is this showing me something I need to heal? Or is it simply reminding me of what I value and want to protect? Either way, triggers are opportunities for growth, whether it's in self-awareness or in reinforcing the boundaries that we've worked so hard to create. To quote Bruce Lee, we can see through others only when we can see through ourselves. Every interaction reflects something about ourselves, and every trigger points to an opportunity for deeper understanding. The courage to face those reflections is where growth begins. Self-reflection and understanding is what leads to knowing. And not everyone will take the time to understand where you are in that journey, what your intentions are, what you are going through. And that's okay. Not everyone is meant to. And you, of course, will be triggered by others as you go through your healing journey because there's something that life is trying to teach you through that situation. Recognizing that is an important step to self-awareness. And also remember that you are changing as you work through the traumas in order to heal. Your perspectives will change. The people around you will see that change and their perspectives and narratives about you will change. A caterpillar doesn't stay a caterpillar. They grow. They evolve into a badass, even more beautiful version of themselves. And nothing is a mistake. If you feel a strong pull to do or say something, it's your intuition, your spirit guides, the universe guiding you for a reason. Everything happens for you. And if there are others involved, it happens for them also. Maybe whomever heard something you feel like you regretted saying needed to hear it in that way. Or maybe you needed to see yourself and hear yourself or hear what they had to say in order to learn something. Like maybe you didn't realize that you have been taking out your frustrations on others, or that you're allowing others to gaslight you and you need to set firmer boundaries. Or maybe the experience for you was so that you can see how far you've come, how far you've grown in taking control of your emotions and not allowing them to control you. You know, whatever the case may be, trust in yourself and trust that things had to happen the way they happened for a reason, that the universe is bringing situations to you for your greater and your highest good. And that's something that I was reminded of as I triggered this person in my experience, probably in many ways. But the most interesting way, I think, is the concept of being healed. Now, let me preface this by saying this concept doesn't have to resonate with you, and that's perfectly okay. You know, my favorite part about life is that we all think differently. It makes for interesting conversations, and I welcome all perspectives. It's how we can deepen our understanding and evolve our ideologies. You know, I've heard people say you are never truly healed, that we are always forever healing in order to continuously grow, which in order to grow, you have to learn. But that implies that you can't learn without healing. It implies that healing and learning are synonymous. But when you think of healing, it often implies the presence of some form of emotional, mental, or physical pain or fear. You know, healing is at its core a process of addressing discomfort, wounds, or imbalances, whether they stem from guilt, shame, anger, or other challenging emotions. And these emotions are typically signals that something within us needs attention, compassion, and transformation. But when you think of learning, that doesn't necessarily mean that you have to face difficult emotions. Learning is neutral. Knowledge is a portal to understanding and can be gained in times of pain or in times of joy or sheer curiosity, you know, in any and all polarities. So you can be in a state of being healed through the trauma and still gain and continue to gain knowledge that shapes your beliefs and philosophies, but only if you're malleable in your way of thinking, because beliefs and philosophies, they should be bendable in order to be open to new perspectives and to have greater understanding of knowledge and the wisdom that you gain through life's experiences. Even the concept that you can be healed, right? You have to be malleable and open-minded to that concept, right? Having an open mind, but in its truest forms, with no limiting beliefs. Because if you're never truly satisfied, never rigid with a belief, then you can seek beyond the boundaries of your own understanding for ultimate growth. Healing, on the other hand, can then also coincide with the growth of knowledge, in that once you heal from challenging emotions, discomfort, or imbalances, you know, physical or mental, you can use the knowledge to not go back to that state of being or that state of mind. As the learning transforms, so does the healing process should it come back. It shifts from healing to healed of that particular experience, regardless of the form that it chooses to come back in, if it does, right? Because you know yourself, you did the inner work. So those two concepts, they have to be separate in order to understand that if you believe you cannot heal, then you won't. Back to my favorite quote by Henry Ford: whether you think you can or you think you can't, you are right. We are not meant to be in a constant state of healing, in a constant state of trauma, cycling over and over again, right? That's what that thought process of never being healed suggests. If you believe that you're always in a state of healing rather than a state of learning and growing, then of course you'll never heal. You will always be in a state of healing because that's where you choose to be. And your mind will look for reasons to validate your way of thinking because it always does. It's like saying, oh, I need to get healthier and work out, but I haven't done it in a while, so this might be hard. I'm too old to start getting in shape anyways, the way that I would like to. Then what you've done is you've sent signals to the brain to think you can't do it. It will be hard and you're never going to accomplish the goals anyways. It's going to help you validate that frame of thinking when you start. Maybe when you start, it's, well, my arms hurt today, so I can't do push-ups. My knees hurt tomorrow, so I guess I can't go for a walk. It's cloudy outside. There's a lot of birds, there's a lot of birds flying by. They might poop on my head. I don't know. Just, right? You get the idea. So your brain is going to start to look for reasons to support you in your way of thinking. And likewise, so will the universe, because it's unconditionally supportive of whatever it is that you believe. So rather than saying, oh, it's never too late to start on my health journey, I can do anything. Oh, I can't go out for a walk today. Well, maybe I'll do some leg lifts instead, or walk in place. Okay, well, since I'm not making the time to full on exercise today because of all of these chores that I have to do or whatnot, errands I have to run, I'll do 15 squats every time I go to the bathroom, right? Shifting that narrative from we are forever healing and can never truly be healed to healing happens when you're actively working through emotions, traumas, or physical imbalances. Learning is constant. We're forever learning, sometimes through healing, but also through joy, curiosity, and expansion. And once you've healed a particular wound, you don't need to keep re-healing it. You move forward, applying what you've learned if you choose to. And here's another trigger warning. We are powerful. You are powerful. The mind is powerful. It's the thought in the void that is the light in the darkness that gives birth to the creation of our reality. And if hearing things like you can heal or you are powerful trigger you, maybe do some journaling to reflect and see what it is that's making you feel the way it's making you feel. Ask yourself, what belief is making you feel that way? I often hear the phrase, healing is a journey. It's not a destination. But healing isn't just a journey. It's made up of destinations also. Well, if you believe it is, right? Every breakthrough, every moment of peace, and every step towards your authentic self is a destination worth celebrating. It's about growth, yes, but it's also about arriving at places where you can rest, thrive, and truly feel the progress that you've made in that moment of peace and joy. For example, a healed destination could be when you no longer feel triggered by a past trauma. A new healing journey could begin later with a different situation. And as you go through your healing journey, and this is something else that I was reminded of in this recent experience, keep in mind that you are the authority of your own healing. No one else can feel what you're feeling in your own body, and no one else can define your truth. When you commit to the inner work, something profound happens. Your body begins to respond differently to what once triggered it. Take anxiety, for example. Maybe speaking in front of a group leaves you sweaty, heart racing, shortness of breath. Maybe you're feeling faint or pain in your body. Your body's screaming, I can't do this. But as you reflect and do the work, you uncover the root, fear of judgment or past criticism. And you release the fear and shift the narrative. Then the next time you're in that situation, you notice something incredible. Your body reacts differently. The panic fades, the sweat dries. That's how you know it's working. As you notice these shifts, you start to reclaim your power. And with that power comes the freedom to define yourself, not by society's expectations, but by your truth. Healing is self awareness in motion. It's about tuning into your body, honoring what it's telling you, and realizing that you do have the power to rewrite that story. Your story, your healing journey is yours. And every step forward is a reminder of the strength that's within you. And here's the thing, you are also the authority on what that looks like as well. The person from that earlier experience I told you about also told me I don't embody mindfulness. Basically, that I wasn't their picture of mindfulness. But honestly, what does mindfulness even look like? Is it supposed to be someone sitting cross-legged on a mountain, never cracking a smile? You know, a monk who never laughs? Spoiler alert, monks do laugh. It's like when someone says, "Oh, you don't look 40." Well, what is 40 supposed to look like? Why can't 40 look like me, like you, and any other 40-year-old living fully on this planet? The same way that a human being can look like me and a human being can look like you, someone who is healing or mindful can look like me, like you, or like anyone practicing in their own way. Here's the truth. When we stop falling into the trap of conforming to societal norms and others' expectations of what we should look like or act like, we free ourselves. When we embrace our unique path, our choices, our healing, and our truth, we unlock a kind of freedom that no one else can give us. It's not about fitting into someone else's definition of mindfulness, healing, or success. It's about living authentically and showing up as the powerful, ever-evolving, badass person that you are. Okay, so I want to take a moment to connect with the energy of the universe, because mindfulness isn't just about being present in your body and mind. It's also about recognizing the interconnectedness of everything, right? Your thoughts, your emotions, your physical self, and the energy of the world around you. When we work on our mind, body, soul connection, we open ourselves up to clarity, guidance, and alignment. So I'm going to pull a few cards from my oracle decks and tap into the wisdom that's always available both within and beyond us, so that we can get a little guidance on our journey towards wholeness. So let's pull a few cards and see what insights come through for the collective today. I'll be pulling one card from my healing oracle deck to see what your spirit guides, God, source, however you resonate, would like you to focus on healing. I'll be pulling two cards from my blockages oracle deck to see what blockages you may be experiencing and how to clear those blockages. Two messages from the universe, and I'll wrap it up with a card from the moon deck to let you know how to navigate your journey. At this time, I'd like you to take a deep breath, center yourself, and let's see what the universe has to share. And as a reminder, with this reading, take what resonates and leave the rest. Not everything will resonate, and that's okay. This is for the collective, so just take whatever resonates. Let's take some deep mindful breaths and connect to the energy of the universe. Let's see. Okay, well, that came out really, really quickly. Okay, so the healing card that came out actually is number 55, which 5 is the number of change. It represents change, and it says you are free to choose. And we've got a little rhino. We've got rhino spirit coming through, if that resonates. And the card says, don't worry about what others want for you. You get to choose your own path. That resonates perfectly with what we were just talking about. Your affirmation is I am free to decide what's best for me. This is spirit saying, yeah, you are your own authority. Don't let others' perspectives, others' opinions of you dictate your reality, your perspective, whether or not you are healed, any of that, right? This is a card of freedom. That's where true freedom comes from. The freedom to choose, because at the end of the day, it's all a choice, right? Choose your heart. Yes, we have these thoughts that come in, and we are living life automatically at times, but that's where mindfulness life practices come in to allow you to learn and to be self-aware so that you can understand the power that you have, which all comes back to choice, right? You can choose how you react. You can choose what situations you put yourself in. Not all the time, right? Sometimes opportunities, they come knocking, whether we want them to or not. But looking at it as in the perspective of, everything does work out for me. Everything works out for a reason, right? And what is that reason? It's important to remember that you are not stuck unless you want to be. We have to take accountability for our own life because we have the accountability to take. Okay, some blockages that came out. Success vampires. People are taking away your time, your ideas, or draining your energy. So to break that blockage, stand your ground, face your success vampires head on, and don't let them take from you. Whether it be sticking up for yourself or setting better boundaries, let them know that you're taking your power. This reminds me of a time when I was telling something to someone and I was letting them know how that situation was making me feel. And immediately they were like, that's just your anxiety. Like, that's just your anxiety. They were dismissive of whatever it was that I was saying, however it was that I was feeling. And immediately, it was gaslighting. I didn't really realize at the time that that's what they were doing, but they were gaslighting, right? So when people try to point out those, um, your faults, because that's their perspective, their narrative that they've created, that's what this reminds me. Some of you have these people that are saying things and maybe even like saying like a backhanded compliment. I don't know if that's the same, but that's what I'm seeing is like this like a backhanded compliment. It's like people that say things to you, and that's the same thing. They are still they're draining your energy, and they are trying to tell you what your narrative is. So it all goes back to choosing that path that allows you to see that you are your own authority. Nobody can tell you where you are in your life. Like, nobody can tell you, and I remember allowing, right? I allowed that. I take accountability for it. I allowed, and that's an important part of that, is accountability. Keep you, take accountability for your own life. Nobody is like throwing you in a wheelbarrow and just like tossing you about and throwing you around in the wheelbarrow, right? Like, you are the creator of your reality. I remember allowing those words to kind of just mold me and really then put me in a state of like, oh my goodness, is it really this? Am I like seeing this differently? Am I not seeing this correctly? Am I not feeling these things in my body? Like, yes, you are. You know your truth. You feel it in your body. You feel it physically. You feel it mentally. So this tells me, there are people that might be gaslighting you. And so learning to work on setting better boundaries and knowing that it's not it's not you. They are projecting, right? They are projecting. But this is triggering you in order for you to be able to learn from that and understand that. The other one is physical health. Living an unhealthy lifestyle is decreasing your focus and energy. You want to honor your temple. Adequate nutrition and exercise can help boost your concentration and energy levels, which can significantly increase the chances of personal success, right? Take care of yourself. No matter what state of mind you're in, it is important to take care of yourself, right? Not just feeding the mind. Growth is all encompassing. It's about the mind, yes. The soul, yes. But it's also about the body. That also, all of that helps and leads to that self-awareness. And in order to be that, to be able to truly see yourself, accept yourself for where you are and for who you are, because you're fucking amazing, right? But also acknowledge and accept that you have the power and you have the choice to make a change in your reality. And then adapt, right? Choose to take the steps that it takes to make those changes. So for some of you, you need to take better care of yourself as well. Your physical body is calling you to do that. Get up, move, walk outside, whatever it is that you have to do. But start in movement, and it can be small, right? Take small steps. Maybe it's like I said, 15 squats every time that you go to the bathroom. Maybe start out with 5. 5 squats every time you go to the bathroom. Trust me, your legs are gonna feel it. Your booty's gonna feel it. Yeah. So, message from the universe: sometimes holding on does more damage than letting go. So leave behind all that has been weighing you down for so long and reach for the opportunities that are waiting for you. I promise you, you will not regret it. I'm hearing comfort zone as I'm reading through that. So it's like, okay, so I'm seeing like a baby, like holding onto a baby blanket, right? When you're holding on, when you've got your baby blanket for comfort. You may feel like that is, well, this is the monster I know. Is that the saying? This is the beast I know. Something like that, right? But the reality is, it is doing you more harm than good. There's a reason why these things keep coming up, these situations keep coming up and knocking on your door and asking you to, wait a minute, stop, change your narrative, change your life, because ultimately it does affect your physical health. When we have those stuck emotions, those emotions, they are energy. We are all energy, right? Everything is energy, including your thoughts, including those emotions, right? And those stuck emotions, that's what starts creating diseases in your body. That's what starts creating issues in your body. So you have to be willing to make the choice. Oof, right. You are free to choose. Freedom is yours, but you have to choose it. It ties in so beautifully with what I was saying, with that we're not meant to be in that healing cycle over and over and over again. If you have it in your mind, well, that's what I'm meant to be doing, is I'm meant to be healing this over and over again. No, you're not. If you have it in your mind to believe it, and that is your belief, okay, then you are. Then you're going to stay stuck is what it is. Stuck, right? Like, ooh, like quicksand. Like being stuck in quicksand, right? And slowly but surely, it's only going to cause issues, continue to cause issues, not just mentally, it causes issues physically. So, your emotional, your mental, your physical well being is affected by your belief. That is where it all starts. Your self awareness, your thought process, your beliefs. The other message: when the world feels like it is coming crashing down around you, take that as an opportunity to find yourself and let go of who you thought you were. Not all storms come to destroy your life. Some come to clear your path. Decide that this crisis will be the turning point for what you have been waiting for. Ooh, I'm going to read that one more time. When the world feels like it is coming crashing down around you, take that as an opportunity to find yourself and let go of who you thought you were. Let go of who you thought you were. Not all storms come to destroy your life. Some come to clear your path. Decide that this crisis will be the turning point for what you have been waiting for. I literally just, like, that's literally what I was just talking about. Who you thought you were is not your reality. It's not the real reality. It is others' narratives. And so once you recognize that, and once you can differentiate between, like, pulling the curtains across, right? Once you can differentiate between what's real and what's false, what's yours and what's theirs, there is a sense of freedom there. That gives you an opportunity, using these, looking at life in that way of, well, everything is an opportunity. Either it's, to embrace joy or to learn and gain wisdom and grow, right? Everything's happening for you. Once you're in that frame of mind, you can get past it and you can continue to evolve from that caterpillar, right, into that badass butterfly. Ooh, I love that. What's the advice, Spirit, that we have? Okay, so the advice here is boundaries. Healthy boundaries keep me centered and balanced. Because this is a beautiful card, right? And it's showing, it's healthy boundaries. It's not just boundaries that you set for others, right? Or against others, right? To not allow others' words to dictate your reality, right? To not allow others' words to affect you in the way that they were, right? To not allow them to trigger you in a negative light, but also to break your own boundaries. There are some boundaries that, there are some boundaries that some of you have set that you need to shift. If this resonates for you, there are some boundaries that you have set that you need to shift. So rephrasing it and reframing your own perspective of who you are and who you could be, right? Who you can become. Because And maybe it does go back to that, oh, I'm not healed. I can never heal, right? That's a boundary that you're, so that's a limitation. That's a limiting belief. It's changing and shifting your limiting beliefs, right? Of whether or not you can do something, because whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. that's that's my favorite quote, because it literally defines everything. Just how it literally defines how we create our own reality. It literally defines how we can shift our own reality, and it allows us to break the chains that don't allow us to grow, that don't allow us to change and shift things. Let me read this. This is card number 3. So number 3, boundaries. Setting healthy boundaries is essential for our physical and emotional well-being. We each have a need to care for our unique nature, enforce certain limits, and maintain self-respect. Tune into your central power source as you create and relate in the world with healthy boundaries. When your boundaries are too weak, you may give away too much, let too much in, or set yourself up for unhealthy dependency. Yet, if your boundaries are too rigid or thorny, you can become tense and isolated. Either extreme can be physically and emotionally painful over time. Recognize habits that drain your energy and discover this tender balance for yourself. The positive impact of healthy, clear boundaries will ripple into every aspect of your life. It all goes back to your choices. You have it all goes back so beautifully to choice. You have the choice. You know, when it talks about habits, right? When you have a habit, it's not something that you recognize that you know that you're doing, right? You're just doing it. The moment that you recognize that habit, it's no longer a habit. It's then a choice, right? So the same thing about beliefs. The moment that you recognize and you become self-aware of that belief, that is no longer an automatic belief that is in your thought process. It is now a choice to believe what that thought is. Does that make sense? So it's the moment that you recognize, oh, wait a minute, this is a systematic belief that has continued to ruminate in my head. You can stop and say, whoa, wait a minute, let me shift that narrative. That's not true. I'm not going to believe that. I said I actually am I'm called to pull one more card from my spiritual AF deck, because I don't know why, but I'm to hear whatever is in here. Okay. All right. So from my spiritual AF deck, the card that came out, it's up to you to find beauty in the ugliest days. Okay, so that stems back to understanding that no matter what happens, whether it's a difficult or a positive situation, it's all working for you. So let me read this card. So again, it's up to you to find beauty in the ugliest days. Everyone survived some super shitty days. But even when it comes to those crappiest of crap days, if you look back, you can pretty much always find something beautiful. Maybe someone was unexpectedly kind to you, or for a split second, the startlingly gold sunset made you forget your life was crumbling. Or perhaps there were donuts with sprinkles at your first AA meeting. The trick is to train yourself to spot the beauty in that every moment, AKA real time, it makes the ugly days a little less ugly. So find the goodness, find shifting that frame of mind, shifting that perspective to find the positive message that was meant to come from that opportunity, right? To find the learning experience in that opportunity. And also, don't forget to look back at all the beautiful and great things that have happened in your life, right? So, whereas for me, like with my experience, it was to remind me of how far I've come, how far I've grown, right? So, uh, just remember that, yes, you may be going through some tough times right now, but also look at how far you've come. You're not the same person that you were, 5 months ago. You're not the same person that you were a year ago. You're not the same person that you were 10 years ago. Celebrate that. At every progression that you make, no matter how small, celebrate it. Celebrate yourself. Celebrate yourself. Yes. Okay. Awesome. So, with that, thank you so much for joining me today. I hope that this helped you in some way and inspired you to explore the deeper connections that align your body, your mind, and your soul. And if you enjoyed this episode, please like, subscribe, and share it with someone who might need a little more mindfulness in their life. And until next time, stay present, choose your heart, and keep creating a life that you love. I'm so grateful for you. You've got this, and I'm sending you so much love and light. Take care. Just a quick disclaimer, it's the legal stuff. The guidance, insights, and oracle readings shared here are intended for informational, inspirational, and entertainment purposes only, and aren't a substitute for professional, medical, legal, or psychological advice, diagnosis, or treatment. As a life guide and intuitive, I'm here to offer support and guidance to help you navigate your journey with mindfulness and positivity. Remember, you're always in control of your choices, and it's important to seek licensed professionals when you need them. And while I am a licensed life coach, I am not your life coach. By listening, you accept that any decisions or actions that you take based on this podcast are your own responsibility. I thank you so much for being here and trusting me to be a part of your journey. I love you so much, and I am so grateful for you. With love and light, see you next time.